you so much, Mary, for the introduction, and to Brick Street Poetry for hosting this event. Are you all able to hear me? Okay, good. I'm so honored to be here at the start of National Poetry Month. So happy to see all of you. To me, it is such a delight that April is not only National Poetry Month, but also National Earth Month. As we all know, nature has inspired the most beautiful poetry since the beginning of humanity, and some of the most profound poetry in existence comes from our response to nature, not just the big, magnificent vistas, but also those tiny, intricate details. Right now, of course, we're at a crucial point in time as species are lost and lands are lost, to pause and dwell on the heartbreaking beauty of the earth, and to internalize how tightly bound we are to Earth's ecological trajectory. As you've heard, ecology figures prominently in my own writing, and I hope you'll enjoy this selection. The first poem is entitled, How to Love One Tree. Start with your hands. Place them upon the roughness and ridges, the coarseness and cracks. Watch that line of red ants scatter. See, they don't mind making room for you. And you mustn't bother about what accumulates on your palms and under your fingernails. Please don't think of it as dirt. Think of it as the stuff of earth, the dust of cosmos, all settling into your own body, a body that is made of the same. Remember all this, then hold this grand being and think of your hands as tenderness. Put your lips to the bark and give it the same kiss you plant on your little one's forehead. You can mother anything you want to in the world. Lean in, feel your boundaries thin, feel the roots and tendrils and fibers move through you, but don't be afraid. This is what love is. This interwovenness, this inclusion, this is the same brightness that animates you. Now, forgive my little trick. I just wanted to show you, when you learn to love one tree, your heart can hold a planet. My next poem is about Neela Kurinji, which is a rare purple flower that blooms once only every 12 years in southwestern India. For the tribal people that lived there in the past, that time of blooming was a reliable event. It was a calendar in the backdrop of their lives. But because of changing weather patterns, Neela Kurinji, like so many plants, is faced with extinction. And this poem is about a girl who's born during the blooming, but she loses her mother immediately thereafter. When the blossoms are due again, 12 years later, she's seeking her mother. She imagines that she's merged with the blossoms, but what does it mean if she can't find her? Waiting for Neela Kurinji. It takes 12 years for Neela Kurinji to awaken and cover these hills with a carpet of blue-violet. I imagined my mother rested upon the petals as she closed her eyes and dreamed of me. Her belly curved upward like another fertile hill. She reclined and sang. Her notes wafted through the air and delighted my ears. Those notes called me forth. Her birth pang struck, and I slid into blossoms. She lay there alone in the Neela Kurinji, her bleary gaze upon me, until the villagers approached at last. She lifted me toward them, my name on her lips, took her last breaths, and returned to the soil. Neela, she whispered. Naming is powerful. The Neela Kurinji kissed me awake and grew to me and grew through me and bound me to these hills with their tendrils, before falling into their 12-year sleep. How long I have waited to hear the song that ushered me forth, to sense the hands that caressed me only once, to feel her kindness exuding from roots and flowers. Still I am longing, still I abide. It is time, but the grasslands are shrinking, and Nila Kurinji may never again erupt from the depths. I find the seeds within myself and urge them to flower, yet they remain inert. Oh, Mother, who am I without the blossoms? Who am I without you? The next poem is about India's longest and most well-known river, the Ganga, known in the West as the Ganges. According to myth, Ganga was first a water goddess in the heavens, and when she descended to earth, there was a concern that she was so powerful that she would sweep it away. But Shiva, the divine ascetic and yogi, caught her as she descended in the matted locks of his hair, and then released her slowly across the land. What many people don't know is that myths like these encode ancient knowledge. In the last few generations, the forests flanking Indian rivers have unfortunately been cleared to make room for non-traditional agricultural methods. But for millennia, those forests produced thick, interlocking networks of roots and soil, which trapped water in the earth and then released it gradually, so that fed the rivers continuously and it kept the monsoons from washing the soil away. So in the myth, Shiva's hair represents those underground soil root networks, and Ganga's capture and release represents the sustainable flow of water and the preservation of soil. So in short, the myth is telling the story about the structures and cycles that keep nature in balance. The education of a water goddess. Across the heavens flowed a water goddess, beloved and adored. After all, water is the source of life. She might have glided on and on contented, but one day she glimpsed a green-blue earth and reason left her. She pined, and then she craved. I want that gleaming jewel. I want to cover and consume it. I want to make it mine. Just try to stop a goddess who knows what she wants. She threw her waters to earth and descended, and the heavens feared she'd wash earth away, sweep it into nothingness. But Shiva was ready. He stood, arms akimbo, his face raised to the sky, and whoosh, he caught the goddess in the matted locks of his hair. Whoa there, child, whoa. She kicked and screamed, she tantrumed, but Shiva believed in her, trusted her good sense, knew she was young but teachable. He took her hands in his and whispered, gently, gently, please. This is your home now. Care for it, love it fully, and it will love you in return. He released her into the mountains, drop by drop. She flowed to the forests, sank through root and fiber, rose with the air, and rained down again. She fed the rivers, and they fed her. In time she learned the purpose of a goddess is to sustain life. But don't call her tame. Do you think life is tame? No, life explodes, it bursts, it gyrates. So call her humble, call her wise, to embrace her place in a planetary dance. For the millennia that followed, she fed life. She pulsed through the cycle, around and around, river to soil, soil to air, air to earth, earth to river. Now the goddess watches as the humans penetrate all the spaces, watches as they cover and consume, despite the laws of nature, despite the mathematics of life. She worries her old delusions seeped into Earth's soil, infused its people with a child's defiance. She observes, rapacious, devouring, senseless, deflowering. She witnesses the champing, torching, burning, slashing. She watches connections sever. She watches life break. The goddess whispers, gently, gently, please. Then she calls, then she shouts. She fears no one is waiting to catch the humans, and she doubts Shiva will step forward to save those who refuse to be saved. Old photos and newspapers, I found a seed packet, pollinator garden, at the bottom of my mother's attic bureau, that the Salvation Army wouldn't take because it's in such bad shape. And on a whim, I poured those seeds into the soil by the front door, just under the window. And I didn't even read the instructions before tossing the packet in the trash. And I went about my life without sensing the alchemy occurring. Seeds softening as they drank water and sipped sunshine. Boundaries thinning as they allowed the world to enter them and love them, until roots burst from the casings and sprouts pushed through the ground. Now, blossoms brush the sill, setting bees drunk with pleasure till they bump the glass in confusion. And not once have the blossoms admonished, "Look what we did with your little packet of seeds." And this brought me to tears. The seeds, the blossoms, my mother's dusty bureau with its dusty packet, my aging body with its aging bones. That life loved us and grew through us, and I never even knew it. From you, a thread, a history, a song through millennia. From me, a thread, the ears to hear it, and a voice to sing it to. On your trunk, the rings of time spiral backward through cosmic dust, further than my comprehension reaches. On my palm, the rings of time circle and coil, and at last I understand, my rings are also yours. In your core, an offering. I exist in you, and you exist in me. We share this life on this earth full of life. In my heart, a gratitude. I exist in you, and you exist in me. We reflect the same light. We hold the same thread. Human existence means forgetting, so we cut the thread. Now, you are broken, and now we are broken. If only human existence meant remembering. How much do you need to hold? In this convergence of light and autumn breath, you reach for reds and golds, grasp them with your fingers, wanting, asking, deciding how they can serve you. You place them in your basket, crush them down to fit more. Do they crumble as you press? Do they release their veins and their integrity? There is a squirrel skimming. There is a leaf ant carrying. You too are stepping. Please, you need to watch. Won't you drop what you've gathered and breathe? Won't you take Earth in your hands and love her? Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. I'm grateful to share this work with you. Thank you. If it resonates with you, I hope you will visit some of my other work on my website, dheepamaturi.com. And I subscribe to the notes and poems that I send out every few weeks. In the meantime, happy National Poetry Month, happy National Earth Month. Thank you.